Good day everyone, my name is Raj Rana and I'm the Managing Director here at Devonshire Accountants. I do hope you're all keeping well and obviously following the instructions on the government on some key aspects which our Prime Minister has been talking about in the last couple of days, especially social distancing, self-isolation, personal hygiene, looking after yourself, your family and people around yourself. This is a very rich Australian culture and in this time of need, we need to be all together. Thanks for joining us. Today we're just going to discuss three stimulus packages. There's an update on two, and the first one is the Childcare and Early Childhood Education Relief Program package, which was announced on the 2nd of April 2020. There'll be an update on early access of super and an update on JobKeepers payment. Let's start off with the Childcare and Early Childhood Education Relief Package. So the federal government announced on 2nd April 2020 the relief package for the childcare and early childhood education sector. The relief package, which obviously they've designed, is in two parts. So firstly, to provide free childcare to around 1 million families. And obviously the second part is to ensure that as many of the childcare sector's 13,000 childcare and early learning services as possible keep their doors open for families that need to work and to support vulnerable children during the COVID-19. And this was based on the Prime Minister's media release on 2nd April 2020. This funding will apply from 6th April 2020 based on the number of children who are in care during the fortnight leading into 2nd March 2020. So about key dates there. The Prime Minister also mentioned and advised that families who have stopped or terminated any children's enrollment from 17th February 2020 should get in touch with the relevant centre to restart the child's enrollment. So a few key dates there. So obviously I think it would be advisable that you speak to your relevant centre. Obviously this kicks in on the 6th of April 2020. In a separate media statement, the Minister of Education, Honourable Dan Taran, has indicated that means testing arrangements to access childcare subsidy for those who are working during this period of COVID-19 will no longer be in place. So we think what he mentioned was that during the six-month period, that the means testing arrangements will no longer be in place, which means that in layman terms is that there will be no income tests, there will be no assets testing. So I feel that nearly every family would be able to qualify, which is fantastic news. And this obviously I've been listening to the Honourable Minister of Education's statement and interview on ABC News 24. And he mentioned that the idea is that as of Monday, 6th April 2020, they're going to be moving into a new system. And if parents have an existing relationship with the childcare centre and their child is attending that centre and they're working from home, so quite a key points there, then he said, yes, they will be able to access free childcare. So it's important to note that obviously that relationship should be there with the childcare centre and the child is attending that centre, and obviously the parents are working from home, so they will need all that support. And this is really a welcoming package, and I feel it will cover nearly everyone who needs the childcare. He also mentioned that this will be obviously, it will complement the JobKeeper payment. So I would advise that speak to your relevant centre as soon as you can. Obviously 6th of April 2020 is when the new system kicks in, so maybe 1 or 2 days after that you can start contacting. So it's again the government is doing quite a bit, and this is another package as part of the coronavirus stimulus package which the government has brought in. I hope that has been useful. Just moving on, I have two quick updates. The first one obviously is on the early release of superannuation. So a couple of key points is that Acting Minister Honourable Alan Tudge has said today that temporary skilled visa holders, so visa holders who have a temporary visa and have work rights, will be able to access super. So as you know, access to super is not yet available, and ATO has updated us that that should be available from the 20th of April 2020. Now, I really wanted to stress two key points, which we have had some updates on. One's on ASIC, which is on the slide on the screen at the moment, and you can see what ASIC has mentioned. Obviously, what I take from there is that really at the bottom is that financial advice must only be provided by qualified and licensed financial advisors. So basically, if you do need any advice, then we do have a financial planner with us, and he can assist you. Basically, that's a very key point from ASIC. And obviously, in this, the other point which ATO have mentioned is about scams, which they have come, which they have come to know at the moment. And I would advise everyone to be very, very, very cautious, because the scams, which are actually basically taking a cut of the superannuation which you are entitled to, obviously subject to advice from your financial advisor, and they are scams which are informing people that yes, you will get your super, but there will be a cut, so which is quite unfair to you, because that is your super. So please be careful. So ATO highlighted that, and I wanted to pass on that message. So the key dates for early access to superannuation will be 20th April 2020. However, I would advise, and as mentioned by ASIC, it's good that you take advice from a financial advisor for any withdrawal of super. So that's the update we have, and obviously the key date there is the 20th of April 2020. Last but not least, I wanted to give you an update on the JobKeepers payment. Now, this payment will be it's going to Parliament. Honourable Scott Morrison, our Prime Minister, has called Parliament, which I understand is on Wednesday, 8th of April 2020. So Parliament will be coming in, and this JobKeepers bill will be going through Parliament. And obviously, subject to any changes, we will let you know what happens. However, we had an update from the Treasury, and they mentioned that they have given discretion to the Commissioner of Tax, Chris Jordan, to determine eligibility where businesses are unable to demonstrate the impact through the turnover reduction test. As mentioned in my earlier videos, the reduction tests are 30% for businesses with a turnover of less than 1 billion, and 50% for businesses with a turnover of more than $1 billion. Now, Treasury have mentioned that the Commissioner of Tax will have some discretion. Now, we don't know to what extent, but I think once the bill is passed through Parliament, we will let you know. But again, I think there's a bit of good news there, because if the discretion is on the Commissioner of Tax, so I'm hoping that he might be able to net in businesses who started recently as well, because there are quite a few businesses who started business less than 1 year ago, and so if those could be taken into this consideration, it would be really good news. So anyway, that's from Treasury. So the discretion is on the Commissioner of Tax, and we're just speculating at the moment, but what will happen is we will keep you updated on Wednesday once that is passed, and I'm sure that the Commissioner of Taxation would then send us some guidelines, and we would advise you accordingly. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I hope this has been useful, and I hope you'll keep following us. Please like us on Facebook, subscribe on our YouTube account and channel, so that we can keep you updated with our videos. Finally, I'm going to leave you with a quote, and which is very relevant to us today, from Dalai Lama. Thank you. Have a nice day.